The Long Game, From Fast Death to Slow Death. Peter Attia discusses the two speeds at which death comes, fast and slow, and reflects on his experiences as a medical student and later as a surgical resident. A haunting experience. Peter begins by recounting a haunting experience during his second year of medical school when he witnessed the death of a patient for the first time. A woman in her mid-30s came into the ER with shortness of breath. Despite the efforts of the medical team, she passed away. This experience stayed with Peter for years, and he wondered if her fate could have been different, with better access to medical care. Fast death. Peter describes fast death as the kind of death that is sudden and often violent, such as those caused by accidents, guns, knives, etc. During his surgical residency at Johns Hopkins in inner-city Baltimore, he was exposed to a high number of trauma cases, mostly involving gunshot or stabbing wounds. These cases were characterized by the immediacy and urgency of the situation. Slow death. In contrast, slow death is characterized by chronic diseases and conditions that gradually take a toll on the body over time. During his residency, Peter also dealt with patients suffering from vascular diseases, gastrointestinal diseases, and especially cancer. He observed that these patients' wounds were caused by slow-growing, long, undetected tumors. He reflects on how cancer doesn't discriminate based on wealth or status. Reflection and realization. Peter reflects on the limitations of the medical approach that focuses on treating patients once they are already sick. He realizes the importance of understanding what leads to the health issues in the first place and focusing on prevention. Changing the approach. Inspired by a quote from Bishop Desmond Tutu, "There comes a point where we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in." Peter emphasizes the need for a different approach to medicine. Instead of just reacting to health issues as they arise, catching the falling eggs, as he metaphorically describes it, there is a need to understand and address the root causes, stopping the person who is throwing the eggs. Medicine 3.0. Rethinking Medicine for the Age of Chronic Disease. Peter Attia discusses the concept of longevity and the importance of not just living together, but living better. Redefining Longevity. Peter emphasizes that longevity is not just about living for a long time, but also the quality of life. He distinguishes between chronological lifespan, how long one lives, and healthspan, how well one lives in terms of health and functionality. He criticizes the term longevity as it has been misused by many who claim to have the secret to eternal life. Understanding the past. He points out that in the 1900s, life expectancy was less than 50 years, and people often died from fast causes such as accidents and infectious diseases. Nowadays, people are more likely to die from slow causes such as chronic diseases. He refers to the four major chronic diseases: heart disease, cancer, neurodegenerative disease, and type 2 diabetes as the four horsemen. Healthspan and quality of life. Peter stresses the importance of healthspan, which he feels is often oversimplified as being free from disability or disease. He believes it should also encompass maintaining and improving physical and mental function. He uses the example of his younger self being more physically and mentally agile compared to his older self, despite both being free from disabilities and diseases. Taking action now. He emphasizes the importance of thinking about the future and taking action now to set oneself on a better trajectory for aging. He mentions that many people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are witnessing their parents' health decline due to physical disability, dementia, or long-term diseases. This observation reinforces the importance of taking steps to ensure a better quality of life as one ages. Changing the medical approach. Peter advocates for a shift in the medical approach to focus on preventing chronic diseases rather than just treating them once they occur. He refers to this new approach as Medicine 3.0 and believes it is essential for improving both the lifespan and health span of individuals. The malleability of longevity. He concludes the chapter by stating that one's longevity is more malleable than one might think. The past does not have to dictate the future. And through understanding and confronting the causes of slow death, it is possible to live longer and maintain a higher quality of life. Medicine 3.0. Rethinking Medicine for the Age of Chronic Disease. Peter Attia discusses the concept of longevity and the importance of not just living together, but living better. Redefining longevity. Peter emphasizes that longevity is not just about living for a long time, but also the quality of life. He distinguishes between chronological lifespan, how long one lives, and healthspan, how well one lives in terms of health and functionality. He criticizes the term longevity as it has been misused by many who claim to have the secret to eternal life. Understanding the past. He points out that in the 1900s, life expectancy was less than 50 years, and people often died from fast causes such as accidents and infectious diseases. Nowadays, people are more likely to die from slow causes such as chronic diseases. He refers to the 4 major chronic diseases: heart disease, cancer, neurodegenerative disease, and type 2 diabetes as the 4 horsemen. Healthspan and quality of life. Peter stresses the importance of healthspan, which he feels is often oversimplified as being free from disability or disease. He believes it should also encompass maintaining and improving physical and mental function. He uses the example of his younger self being more physically and mentally agile compared to his older self, despite both being free from disabilities and diseases. Taking action now. He emphasizes the importance of thinking about the future and taking action now to set oneself on a better trajectory for aging. He mentions that many people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are witnessing their parents' health decline due to physical disability, dementia, or long-term diseases. This observation reinforces the importance of taking steps to ensure a better quality of life as one ages. Changing the medical approach. Peter advocates for a shift in the medical approach to focus on preventing chronic diseases rather than just treating them once they occur. He refers to this new approach as Medicine 3.0 and believes it is essential for improving both the lifespan and health span of individuals. The malleability of longevity. He concludes the chapter by stating that one's longevity is more malleable than one might think. The past does not have to dictate the future. And through understanding and confronting the causes of slow death, it is possible to live longer and maintain a higher quality of life. Objective, strategy, tactics. A roadmap for reading this book. Peter Attia discusses the limitations of the current medical approach and emphasizes the need for early intervention in chronic diseases. Effectiveness against fast death versus slow death. Peter begins by acknowledging that modern medicine is highly effective against fast deaths. That is, trauma, infections, but not as effective against slow deaths. That is, chronic diseases like cancer, cardiovascular disease. He shares an emotional experience of trying to save a 14-year-old boy involved in a car accident, reflecting on the determination of medical professionals to save lives even when the odds are against them. Late intervention in chronic diseases. He criticizes the current medical approach for intervening too late in chronic diseases. He mentions that despite the enormous effort and resources put into fighting diseases like cancer, the progress has been minimal. For example, death rates from cancer have hardly changed, despite extensive research and funding. He attributes this to the fact that interventions are often made when the disease has already progressed significantly, the slow progression of chronic diseases. Peter points out that chronic diseases typically begin much earlier than recognized and take a long time to manifest. For instance, while someone might die suddenly from a heart attack, the disease likely had been progressing in their arteries for decades. He emphasized that slow death moves even more slowly than we realize. The need for early intervention. The logical conclusion, according to Peter, is the need for early intervention to stop or prevent chronic diseases. He cites the example of the reduction in smoking, which has saved more lives than any late-stage intervention for lung cancer. He argues that simple preventative measures can have a more significant impact than treating diseases once they have developed. Changing the approach to type 2 diabetes. As an example, he discusses type 2 diabetes and how the standard treatment guidelines specify that a patient must meet certain criteria before being diagnosed and treated. He argues that this approach is flawed as it waits for the disease to take hold before intervening. Objective, strategy, and tactics. Peter introduces the concept of objective, strategy, and tactics as a roadmap for reading the book. The objective is the ultimate goal, that is, increasing health span. The strategy is the approach to achieving this goal, that is, early intervention, and tactics are the specific actions or treatments used to implement the strategy. a new paradigm. He advocates for a new paradigm in medicine that focuses on prevention and early intervention, rather than just treating diseases once they have developed. This involves understanding the root causes of chronic diseases and taking steps to address these causes before they lead to significant health issues. Centenarians. The older you get, the healthier you have been. Peter Attia delves into the lives of centenarians, individuals who live to be 100 years old or more, and explores the factors that contribute to their longevity. Introduction to Centenarians. Peter introduces centenarians as a unique group of individuals who not only live exceptionally long, but also tend to maintain good health into old age. He emphasizes that their longevity is not just about the number of years lived, but also about the quality of those years. Genetics and environment. He discusses the role of genetics and environment in longevity. While genetic plays a role, environmental factors such as diet, lifestyle, and social connections are equally important. Centenarians often have lifestyles that promote good health, such as a balanced diet, regular physical activity, strong social connections, and a sense of purpose. Healthspan and compression of morbidity. Peter talks about the concept of compression and morbidity, which refers to a reduction in the time a person spends being sick or disabled towards the end of life. Centenarians typically experience a compression of morbidity, meaning they spend a larger proportion of their lives in good health. Learning from centenarians. He emphasizes the importance of learning from centenarians to understand the factors that contribute to a long health span. By studying their lifestyles, genetics, and environments, it is possible to gain insights into how to promote longevity and good health in the general population. The Blue Zones. Peter mentions the concept of the Blue Zones, which are the regions of the world where people live much longer than average. These zones include Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, and among the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California. He discusses the common lifestyle traits among people in these regions, such as a plant-based diet, regular physical activity, social engagement, and a sense of purpose. Personal stories. The chapter includes personal stories and anecdotes of centenarians, highlighting their lifestyles, diets, and attitudes towards life. These stories serve as real-life examples of how certain lifestyle choices and attitudes can contribute to longevity. Implications for personal health. Peter concludes the chapter by discussing the implications of these findings for personal health. He encourages readers to consider making lifestyle changes that promote a longer health span, such as adopting a balanced diet, staying physically active, maintaining social connections, and finding a sense of purpose in life. Eat less, live longer. The science of hunger and health. Peter Attia delves into the relationship between nutrition, metabolism, and longevity. Personal journey. Peter begins the chapter by sharing his personal journey into understanding nutrition and metabolism. He talks about how he became obsessed with understanding these fields and sought mentorship from leading experts. He wanted to understand how nutrition and metabolism impacted his health and how he could make positive changes. Chronic diseases and aging. He discusses the chronic diseases of aging, such as heart disease, cancer, and neurodegenerative diseases, and how modern medicine often fails to effectively treat these conditions. He attributes this failure to the fact that these diseases are complex and cumulative, resulting from multiple risk factors over time. He emphasizes that many of these risk factors are modifiable and can be reduced or eliminated through lifestyle changes. The importance of early intervention. Peter criticizes the medical approach of treating chronic diseases after they are entrenched, rather than focusing on prevention and early intervention. He believes that this approach misses opportunities to improve health and extend lifespan by addressing the root causes of diseases before they take hold. Misunderstandings in medicine. He points out that mainstream medicine has gotten crucial things wrong about the root causes of chronic diseases. For example, he criticizes the typical cholesterol panel as being oversimplified and not providing enough information about the actual risk of heart disease. He also discusses a little-known liver condition that is a precursor to type 2 diabetes, which is often underdiagnosed. Nutrition and metabolism. Peter focuses on nutritional biochemistry and how the combinations of nutrients consumed affect metabolism and physiology. He argues against one-size-fits-all diets and emphasizes the importance of personalized nutrition. He particularly highlights the importance of protein, especially as individuals age. Exercise as a longevity drug. He describes exercise as the most potent longevity drug, stating that no other intervention does as much to prolong lifespan and preserve cognitive and physical function. However, he warns that exercising the wrong way can be harmful and emphasizes the importance of proper exercise techniques. Emotional health. Peter concludes the chapter by stressing the importance of emotional health in the pursuit of physical health and longevity. He shares his own experiences and emphasizes that emotional suffering can have detrimental effects on health. Critical approach to longevity literature. He acknowledges that there are many books on longevity and questions why the world needs another one. He positions his book as different because it critically examines the science behind nutrition, metabolism, and chronic diseases, and offers a data-driven approach to improving health and extending lifespan. The crisis of abundance. Can our ancient genes cope with our modern diet? Peter Attia discusses the impact of modern diets on health and longevity, and how our ancient genes are struggling to cope with the abundance of food in the modern world. The abundance of food. Peter begins the chapter by highlighting the abundance of food in modern society. He points out that historically, humans have faced periods of scarcity and have evolved to store energy efficiently. However, in the modern world, food is abundant and easily accessible, which has led to overconsumption and a host of health issues. Mismatch between genes and environment. He discusses the concept of an evolutionary mismatch between our genes and the current environment. Our genes have evolved for a world where food was scarce, and physical activity was a necessity. In contrast, the modern environment is characterized by an overabundance of high-calorie foods and a sedentary lifestyle. Impact on metabolism and health. Peter explains how this mismatch affects metabolism and contributes to chronic diseases such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. The modern diet, high in refined carbohydrates and unhealthy fats, leads to metabolic imbalances that can have detrimental effects on health. The role of insulin. He delves into the role of insulin in metabolism and how it is affected by diet. He explains that consuming large amounts of carbohydrates leads to elevated insulin levels, which can cause the body to store fat. Over time, this can lead to insulin resistance, a key factor in the development of type 2 diabetes and other metabolic diseases. Rethinking dietary guidelines. Peter criticizes conventional dietary guidelines that often emphasize low-fat diets. He argues that these guidelines do not take into account individual variability in metabolism and may not be suitable for everyone. He suggests that a more personalized approach to nutrition, taking into account an individual's metabolic health, is necessary. The importance of nutrient density. He emphasizes the importance of consuming a nutrient-dense diet, which includes foods that are high in nutrients but relatively low in calories. He suggests focusing on whole foods such as vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and lean proteins, and minimizing the intake of processed foods and refined foods. Intermittent fasting and caloric restriction. Peter discusses how potential benefits of intermittent fasting and caloric restriction for improving metabolic health and extending lifespan. He explains that periods of fasting or reduced calorie intake can improve insulin sensitivity and have various other beneficial effects on metabolism. Practical steps for dietary changes. He concludes the chapter by offering practical steps for making dietary changes. He suggests starting slowly, focusing on quality over quantity, and paying attention to how different foods affect one's energy levels, mood, and overall health. Which appears to be about confronting and preventing heart disease. Resistance to change in medicine. Peter Attia recounts an incident during his residency where he tried to improve the way medication was delivered to a very sick patient. However, instead of being appreciated, he was reprimanded by the attending physician. He reflects on the resistance to change and innovation in the medical field, which sometimes hampers the adoption of better practices. Leaving residency. Frustrated with the culture in medicine, Peter decided to leave his residency program. His colleagues and mentors were shocked by his decision. He felt like he was throwing away years of medical training. Career shift to consulting. Peter took a job with McKinsey & Company, a management consulting firm. He was initially hired into their healthcare practice, but was later moved to credit risk due to his quantitative background. Understanding risk. During his time at McKinsey, Peter worked on analyzing banks' internal data to develop mathematical models to predict unexpected losses. This work was during the run-up to the global financial crisis of 2008. Through his analysis, he realized that a financial disaster was brewing, delivering bad news to banks. Peter had to deliver the bad news to a major US bank about the impending financial crisis. He compares this experience to delivering a terminal diagnosis to a patient, as he observed the bank executives go through the 5 stages of grief. Realization of a blind spot in medicine. His experience in consulting made him realize that there is a huge blind spot in medicine regarding the understanding of risk. In finance, understanding risk is fundamental, but in medicine the concept of risk is not as well understood or utilized. The runaway cell. New ways to address the killer that is cancer. Understanding and managing risk in medicine. Peter Attia discusses the importance of understanding and managing risk in medicine. He criticizes the Hippocratic Oath's phrase, "First, do no harm," for being too simplistic and not always practical. He argues that sometimes taking risks is necessary to save a life or improve a patient's condition. Real-life example. He shares a real-life example from his residency where a 17-year-old patient came in with a stab wound near his heart. The patient was at risk of dying within minutes. Peter had to make a split-second decision to perform a risky procedure right in the emergency room. The procedure was successful, and the patient's life was saved. This example illustrates that sometimes taking risks is necessary, and that doing nothing can sometimes be the riskiest choice. Balancing risks and benefits. Peter emphasizes that physicians need to balance the risks and benefits of different treatment options. He argues that avoiding harm is not always the best option, and sometimes taking risks can have significant benefits. He also points out that everyday activities such as driving or eating a salad have risks, but people still engage in them because the benefits outweigh the risks. Critique of the medical field's approach to risk. He criticizes the medical field for sometimes being too cautious and not willing to take risks, even when it could benefit the patient. He argues that physicians need to be more willing to take calculated risks and to think critically about the best course of action for each patient. The importance of innovation and change in medicine. Peter discusses the importance of innovation and change in medicine. He shares his own experiences of trying to implement changes during his residency and being met with resistance. He argues that the medical field needs to be more open to change and innovation to improve patient outcomes. The complexity of medical decisions. He acknowledges that medical decisions are complex and that physicians need to consider a wide range of factors, including the patient's health, the risks and benefits of different treatment options, and the patient's preferences and values. Which appears to be about the evolution of medicine and its transformational impact on society. 2 distinct eras in medical history. Peter Attia discusses 2 distinct eras in medical history. The first era, Medicine 1.0, was characterized by direct observations and guesswork. Hippocrates was a prominent figure in this era, and he believed that diseases were natural and not caused by gods. The second era, Medicine 2.0, began in the mid-19th century with the advent of the germ theory, leading to improved sanitary practices and the development of antibiotics. Resistance to change. Peter highlights the resistance to change in the medical field. He shares the story of Ignaz Semmelweis, who suggested that doctors were transmitting diseases to patients due to not washing their hands. His observations were rejected, and he was ostracized by his colleagues. This example illustrates the challenges faced by those trying to bring about change in medicine. The advent of germ theory. The shift from Medicine 1.0 to Medicine 2.0 was marked by the advent of germ theory. This theory, supported by the work of Louis Pasteur, Joseph Lister, and Robert Koch, led to significant changes in medical practices, including the use of antiseptics. The scientific method. The shift to Medicine 2.0 was also characterized by the adoption of the scientific method. This method involved forming hypotheses, conducting experiments, and rigorously testing theories. It represented a shift from mere observation to a more systematic and scientific approach to medicine. Transformational impact of Medicine 2.0. Medicine 2.0 had a transformational impact on society. It led to the eradication of diseases such as polio and smallpox, and turned HIV/AIDS from a seemingly unstoppable plague into a manageable chronic disease. The chapter also mentions the recent cure for hepatitis C as a remarkable achievement. Technological advancements. The chapter acknowledges that technological advancements, such as the microscope, played a significant role in the shift to Medicine 2.0. However, it emphasizes that the change was more about a new way of thinking and applying the scientific method to medical practice. Continued progress and challenges. Peter Attia suggests that medicine continues to evolve, but there are still challenges to overcome, especially in terms of adopting new practices and innovations. He implies that there might be a third era of medicine on the horizon, which will require continued innovation and a willingness to adapt to new knowledge and technologies. Thinking tactically, building a framework of principles that work for you. Peter Attia discusses the importance of adapting to the modern environment through tactical planning to improve health and longevity. Diseases of civilization. Peter Attia discusses the rise of chronic diseases such as cancer, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and dementia, which have been termed diseases of civilization. These diseases have become more prevalent with industrialization and urbanization. He emphasizes that while modern life has extended lifespans and improved living standards, it has also created conditions that limit longevity. Mismatch between genes and environment. The author points out that the human environment has changed dramatically over the last century, including changes in food supply, activity levels, and social structures, while human genes have remained largely unchanged. This mismatch between genes and the environment contributes to the rise of chronic diseases. Fructose as an example. Peter uses the example of fructose, which was once beneficial when consumed in the form of fruits and honey, but is now overabundant in modern diets, often in liquid form, and contributes to metabolic disruption. The need for tactical planning. The author emphasizes the need for tactical planning to navigate the modern environment, which he describes as potentially toxic. He suggests that individuals need to be strategic in adapting to this environment to reduce the risk of disease and improve the quality of life. 5 tactical domains in Medicine 3.0. Peter introduces 5 tactical domains in Medicine 3.0 that can be addressed to alter someone's health: exercise, nutrition, sleep, stress management, and the use of medications and supplements. He considers exercise to be the most potent domain and breaks it down into components including aerobic efficiency, maximum aerobic output, VO2 max, strength, and stability. Adapting and thriving. Exercise, the most powerful longevity drug. The author emphasizes the profound impact of exercise on longevity and health span. Here's a summary of the key points. Exercise as a powerful tool for longevity. Peter Attia begins by highlighting the importance of exercise in promoting longevity. He mentions that exercise has the power to determine how individuals will live out the rest of their lives. He refers to exercise as the most powerful longevity drug. Conflicting advice on exercise. The author acknowledges that there is a plethora of conflicting advice on exercise, which can be confusing. He criticizes the tendency to oversimplify complex questions about exercise into binary choices, such as cardio versus weights. Holistic view of exercise. Peter argues for a more holistic view of exercise, considering both strength training and cardiovascular exercise as essential components. He emphasizes that it's not about choosing sides, but understanding the comprehensive benefits of different forms of exercise. Impact on health span. The author discusses the impact of exercise on health span, which refers to the period of life spent in good health. Exercise not only extends lifespan, but also improves health span by delaying the onset of chronic diseases and reversing physical and cognitive decline. Emotional benefits of exercise. Peter mentions that exercise also has emotional health benefits, although these are harder to quantify. Regular physical activity is associated with improved mood and reduced risk of depression. Data supporting exercise. The author cites data supporting the benefits of exercise, mentioning that even a minimal amount of exercise can lengthen life by several years. For example, going from 0 weekly exercise to just 90 minutes per week can reduce the risk of dying from all causes by 14%. Incorporating exercise into daily life. Peter encourages readers to incorporate exercise into their daily lives. He emphasizes that even a little bit of daily activity is better than none, and that both cardiovascular exercise and strength training should be part of a balanced exercise regimen. Customizing exercise regimens. The author suggests that individuals should customize their exercise regimens based on their goals and needs. He emphasizes that the objective should be to live a longer and better life and to continue enjoying physical activity well into the later years. Exercise as an investment in health. Peter Attia views exercise as an investment in one's health. He encourages readers to adopt exercise habits not just for immediate benefits, but as a long-term investment in extending and improving the quality of life. Training 101. How to prepare for the Centenarian Decathlon. The author delves into the specifics of exercise training and its significance in preparing for a long and healthy life. Here's a summary of the key points. Cardiorespiratory fitness and longevity. Peter Attia begins by discussing the importance of cardiorespiratory fitness in longevity. He explains that peak aerobic fitness, measured in terms of VO2 max, the maximum rate at which a person can utilize oxygen during exercise, is a powerful marker for longevity. The higher the VO2 max, the more efficiently the body can deliver oxygen to muscles, which is crucial for stamina and energy in daily life. VO2 max and energy production. The author explains that VO2 max represents the body's ability to produce energy through oxygen-dependent pathways. The fitter an individual is, the more oxygen they can consume to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the chemical fuel that powers cells. This is particularly important during high-intensity activities such as running uphill. Adaptability of the human body. Peter emphasizes the human body's amazing ability to adapt to demands. For example, when exercising, breathing quickens and the heart rate accelerates to extract more oxygen from the air, increasing energy production. The fitter an individual is, the higher their capacity to utilize oxygen and produce energy. Importance of specific training. The author stresses the importance of specific training regimens to improve fitness levels. He mentions that training should be tailored to individual goals and needs, and should focus on improving both aerobic fitness and strength. Preparing for the Centenarian Decathlon. Peter introduces the concept of the Centenarian Decathlon, which represents the idea of being physically and mentally fit to engage in various activities and challenges throughout life, especially in the later years. He suggests that individuals should train for this decathlon by focusing on improving cardiorespiratory fitness, strength, flexibility, and mental well-being. Avoiding the pitfalls of aging. The author explains that training effectively can help individuals avoid the common pitfalls of aging, such as loss of muscle mass, reduced cardiorespiratory fitness, and cognitive decline. He encourages individuals to view training as an investment in their future health and quality of life. Data-driven training. Peter encourages a data-driven approach to training, where individuals monitor their progress and make informed decisions based on data such as VO2 max, strength levels, and other fitness metrics. Holistic approach to training. The author advocates for a holistic approach to training that considers not just physical fitness, but also mental and emotional well-being. He emphasizes that training should be a lifelong endeavor that adapts to changing needs and goals. The Gospel of Stability. Relearning how to move to prevent injury. The author focuses on the importance of stability and movement in preventing injuries and promoting longevity. Here's a summary of the key points. Cardiorespiratory fitness and muscle strength. Peter Attia continues from the previous chapter, emphasizing the importance of cardiorespiratory fitness and muscle strength in longevity. He mentions that having a higher VO2 max is beneficial for overall health and longevity. Additionally, not just muscle mass, but the strength of those muscles and their ability to generate force is crucial. The importance of stability. The author introduces the concept of stability as a critical component of physical fitness. Stability involves the ability to maintain control of joint movement or position by coordinating actions of surrounding tissues and the neuromuscular system. Relearning how to move. Peter discusses the importance of relearning how to move correctly to prevent injuries. He emphasizes that as people age, they often develop movement patterns that can be detrimental to their joints and muscles. Relearning proper movement techniques is essential for maintaining physical health and preventing injuries. Functional movements and core strength. The author talks about functional movements that mimic real-world activities and are essential for daily life. He emphasizes the importance of core strength in stabilizing the spine and providing a foundation for all other movements. Balance and coordination. Peter discusses the role of balance and coordination in stability. He mentions that improving balance can prevent falls, which are a common case of serious injuries among older adults. Training for stability. The author provides insights into training for stability. He suggests incorporating exercises that challenge balance and coordination, strengthen the core, and improve functional movements. The role of stability in the Centenarian decathlon. Peter ties the concept of stability back to the Centenarian decathlon, which he introduced in the previous chapter. He explains that stability is one of the critical physical attributes that will allow individuals to remain active and engaged in various physical activities throughout their lives. Preventing injuries through stability training. The author emphasizes that stability training is not just about improving performance, but is also a critical injury prevention strategy. By improving stability, individuals can reduce the risk of musculoskeletal injuries, which are common as people age. Personalized approach to stability training. Peter encourages a personalized approach to stability training, taking into account an individual's physical condition, history of injuries, and specific goals. Nutrition 3.0. The author delves into the complex relationship between nutrition and biochemistry, and how it impacts longevity and health. Here's a summary of the key points. Nutrition as a complex science. Peter Attia begins by emphasizing that nutrition is a complex science that goes beyond simple concepts like calories and macronutrients. He introduces the term nutritional biochemistry to describe the intricate interactions between the nutrients we consume and our body's biochemical processes. Nutrients and cellular function. The author explains that nutrients from the food we eat play a crucial role in cellular function. For instance, certain nutrients are essential for the production of energy in the mitochondria, while others are necessary for the synthesis of DNA, proteins, and other biomolecules. Individual variability in nutritional needs. Peter discusses the concept of individual variability in nutritional needs. He explains that factors such as genetics, age, activity levels, and health status can influence an individual's nutritional requirements. This means that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to nutrition. The role of micronutrients. The author emphasizes the importance of micronutrients, such as vitamins and minerals, in supporting various biochemical processes. He explains that while macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, provide energy, micronutrients are essential for the proper functioning of enzymes and other proteins that regulate metabolism. Nutrient timing and metabolism. Peter Attia discusses the concept of nutrient timing and its impact on metabolism. He explains that the timing of nutrient intake can influence hormonal responses, energy levels, and other metabolic processes. For example, consuming carbohydrates before exercise can enhance performance, while protein intake after exercise can support muscle recovery. Nutritional strategies for longevity. The author delves into various nutritional strategies that can promote longevity. He discusses concepts such as caloric restriction, intermittent fasting, and the consumption of nutrient-dense foods as strategies that have been shown to support healthy aging. The dangers of nutritional dogma. Peter warns against adhering to rigid nutritional dogmas and fad diets. He encourages an evidence-based approach to nutrition that takes into account the complexity of nutritional biochemistry and individual variability. Personalized nutrition for optimal health. The author advocates for personalized nutrition as a means to optimize health and longevity. He suggests that individuals should work with healthcare professionals to develop a personalized nutritional plan that takes into account their unique biochemistry, health goals, and lifestyle. Nutrition as a pillar of healthspan. Peter Attia concludes the chapter by reiterating that nutrition is one of the fundamental pillars of healthspan and longevity. He encourages individuals to view nutrition not just as a source of energy, but as a powerful tool for optimizing biochemical processes that support health and vitality throughout life. Putting nutritional biochemistry into practice. How to find the right eating pattern for you. The author focuses on practical strategies for implementing nutritional biochemistry into daily life to optimize health and longevity. Here's a summary of the key points. Importance of muscle mass. The author begins by emphasizing the importance of muscle mass in longevity and health span. He mentions that muscle mass is crucial for maintaining physical structure and reducing the risk of falls, which are a leading cause of death and disability in the elderly. Exercise as a powerful tool. Peter Attia reiterates that exercise is a powerful tool for maintaining muscle mass and improving health span. He mentions that exercise has benefits across physical, cognitive, and emotional health. Individualized nutritional strategies. The author discusses the importance of individualized nutritional strategies. He explains that nutritional needs vary based on factors such as age, activity levels, and health status, and that individuals should find an eating pattern that aligns with their goals and biochemistry. Understanding nutritional biochemistry. Peter emphasizes the need to understand nutritional biochemistry, which involves the interactions between nutrients and the body's biochemical processes. He suggests that this understanding is crucial for making informed dietary choices. Balancing macronutrients and micronutrients. The author talks about the importance of balancing macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins and fats, and micronutrients, vitamins and minerals in the diet. He explains that while macronutrients provide energy, micronutrients are essential for the proper functioning of enzymes and other metabolic processes. The role of timing in nutrition. Peter discusses the role of timing in nutrition. He explains that the timing of meals and nutrient intake can influence metabolic processes and hormonal responses. For example, consuming protein after exercise can support muscle recovery. Avoiding nutritional dogmas. The author warns against rigid nutritional dogmas and fad diets. He encourages an evidence-based approach to nutrition that is adaptable and takes into account individual variability. Collaboration with healthcare professionals. Peter suggests that individuals should work with healthcare professionals to develop a personalized nutritional plan. He mentions that this collaboration is essential for monitoring progress and making informed decisions based on data. Lifelong commitment to nutrition. The author concludes by emphasizing that nutrition should be a lifelong commitment. He encourages individuals to view nutrition as an integral part of their health and well-being, and to continuously adapt their nutritional strategies based on changing needs and goals. The Awakening. How to learn to love sleep. The best medicine for your brain. The author emphasizes the critical role of sleep in brain health and overall well-being. Here's a summary of the key points. The underappreciated role of sleep. Peter Attia begins by highlighting how sleep is often underappreciated and neglected in modern society. He points out that sleep is essential for cognitive function, memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and physical health. Sleep as brain medicine. The author refers to sleep as the best medicine for the brain. During sleep, the brain undergoes various processes, including the removal of waste products, the strengthening of neural connections, and the consolidation of memories. The detrimental effects of sleep deprivation. Peter discusses the detrimental effects of sleep deprivation, which can include impaired cognitive function, mood disturbances, increased risk of chronic diseases, and accelerated aging. Understanding sleep cycles. The author explains the different stages of sleep, including REM, rapid eye movement sleep, and non-REM sleep. He emphasizes the importance of both deep sleep and REM sleep for brain health and recovery. Sleep hygiene practices. Peter provides practical advice on improving sleep hygiene. This includes maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, creating a conducive sleep environment, and avoiding stimulants and electronic devices close to bedtime. The role of nutrition and exercise in sleep quality. The author discusses how nutrition and exercise can impact sleep quality. For example, consuming caffeine or alcohol close to bedtime can disrupt sleep, while regular physical activity can improve sleep quality. Addressing sleep disorders. Peter Attia addresses common sleep disorders such as insomnia and sleep apnea. He encourages individuals to seek professional help if they suspect they have a sleep disorder, as untreated sleep disorders can have serious health consequences. Mindfulness and relaxation techniques. The author suggests incorporating mindfulness and relaxation techniques, such as meditation and deep breathing, to improve sleep quality. These practices can help calm the mind and prepare the body for restful sleep. Sleep as a pillar of longevity. Peter concludes the chapter by reiterating that sleep is a fundamental pillar of longevity and health span. He encourages individuals to prioritize sleep and adopt practices that promote restful and restorative sleep. The author reflects on the true essence of longevity and the importance of emotional health. He acknowledges that his initial obsession with longevity stemmed from a fear of dying, which was further intensified after having children. However, he realizes that in his frantic pursuit of longevity, he was not truly living and was neglecting his emotional health. The author shares a turning point in his perspective, which was influenced by his friend Rick Elias. Rick was one of the passengers on the U.S. Airways flight that made an emergency landing in the Hudson River in 2009. This near-death experience profoundly changed Rick's outlook on life and longevity. Peter Attia comes to understand that his pursuit of longevity was misguided. He was so focused on avoiding death that he was not embracing life. He was mourning the past and trapped by the pain it caused, rather than looking forward to the future. The author concludes by highlighting the importance of having clarity, purpose, and meaning in one's life. He emphasizes that true age is not just a number, but is reflected in one's mindset. People who continuously think about their dreams, aspirations, and the future remain young at heart. On the other hand, those who dwell on the past and what they have done tend to grow old.